Hello and welcome to this video on how to solve a can-can. Alright, so I just want to point out that since this is a video, remember, anytime you want to pause, rewind, play it again, you can always do that. Alright, so I'm Mr. Gleason, and I am your friendly neighborhood math teacher, and I'm here to explain. Now, I've also included a written explanation in case you need to look at that instead. But basically, a can-can is similar to a Sudoku in that you're going to put a single digit in each of these boxes. And just like Sudoku, you can only put one number, one type of number in each column in each row. So I can't have two twos in the rows, or two threes in a row, or two fours, or two sixes, or two eights, or whatever. I can't have them in here. Now, I say that, but this, notice there's three columns and three rows. This is what we call a 3x3 grid. And in a 3x3 grid, we can only use the digits 1, 2, and 3, because it is 3 by 3. All right, now what's different about Sudoku, can-can from Sudoku, is that notice these little boxes right here. These are called cages. And in the cages, they have a number and a mathematical operation symbol. Notice this is the plus. That means we're going to add. And over here, this means subtraction. All right, so that means that the two numbers that go into this cage has to add up to 4. The two numbers that go into this cage have to add up to 4. So if you notice down on the bottom left, though, here's a number. There's no mathematical operation symbol. That's because this is called a freebie. In this cage, it already tells you that the 3 goes in here. So we're going to go ahead and put the 3 right in there because we know it has to go there because it told us. All right, so now we're looking at these digits, 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to have to decide where to put these. Well, if we go up to the 4 plus, we talked about that these two numbers had to add up to 4. And we also talked about that it couldn't be 2 plus 2 because the 2's would be in the same row. So that means it has to be the 1 and the 3. Now, it can't, you have to decide whether the 1 goes first or the 3 goes first. But if you look down here at our freebie, we notice that this 3 is in this column. So the 3 can't be in the same column as another 3. So that means that the 1 has to go here, and the 3 has to go over here. So now we have 1 plus 3 is 4, and we're not having a duplicate in any of the row or column. Now, speaking of identicals in the row or column, we already have a 1 and a 3. We're only missing one digit, and we have one square left in this column. So that means that this one has to be a 2. All right, and if you look at this row, this has a 1 and a 3. It's missing one number. That means this also has to be a 2. All right, so now let's look at this one, and it says 1 minus. So that means that when I subtract these two numbers in here, they have to equal 1. So I know that 2 minus 1 is 1, but it also could be 3 minus 2 is 1. Now, I know some of you are already saying, yeah, but look at that 3 in that column. That means that this can't be a 3 because there's already a 3 here. So that means that this has to be a 1 because 2 minus 1 is 1. And once again, now we have our set here. We have a 3 and a 1. No number 2. That has to be in this one. And now we're cooking with gas because we can see that we have a 1 and a 2. Means we're missing a 3 and a 3 and a 2, which means that's a 1. And yay, we've solved our first can-can. All right, so the last can-can was a 3x3, and generally those are the easiest to do. You might notice it was a little bit simple to kind of figure this out. Well, I picked one that's a little bit more challenging. It even has the name challenging right here. Challenging! So it also has 4 different kinds of operations that we're going to use, right? All 4 of them: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So we're going to use a little bit of everything in order to solve for these. You might notice it's also a little bit bigger. This time, instead of only 3 columns and 3 rows, it has 4 columns and 4 rows. So that means we're going to use the numbers 1, 2, 3, and we're going to include this time 4. All right, where to begin? Because if you notice, no freebies. So we have to figure out where to begin. So I usually look around for something or for some kind of a number, an operation, that there's really only one option for me with these set of numbers. I'm going to start with the top left. Notice it says 7 plus. So if I was trying to add up to 7 with just 2 numbers, when I was using these, the only thing I could use is a 4 and a 3. Because 4 plus 3 is 7. There's no other combination that I can use to add up to 7. So I'm going to go ahead and put a 3 and a 4. Oh, wait a minute. Does the 4 go here and the 3 in the second column, or does the 3 go in the first column and the 4 in the second? Oh, no. We don't know for sure. So what I like to do in this case is I like to put little numbers by there, showing that I know that this has to either be a 4 or a 3, and this has to be a 4 or a 3. So I don't know which one it could be, but I know that a 4 and a 3 has to go into those right there. So let's go ahead and look for another one that it can only be one possible combination. So if we look through all of this, right here, the 3 minus. So that means that the numbers, when they subtract, have to equal 3. Well, the only combination that I can have there is 4 minus 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. No other combinations are going to work to subtract it and get a 3. So if this has to be a 4 and a 1, we still don't know whether the 4 is on top and the 1's on bottom, or the 1's on top and the 4's on bottom. I don't know. But I do know that that means that in this column, it has to be a 4 and a 1, and this column also has to be a 4 or a 1. So if a 4 or a 1 has to go here, can this one be a 4? Absolutely not. So I'm going to first go ahead and erase these little ones, because now I've got to figure it out. I know that the 4 can't go here, so the 3 has to go there, which means that the 4 has to go over there on that side. Now, do I still know which one goes here? No, I don't. But what do you notice? That means there's only one blank spot here. If this is a 1 or a 4, and this is a 1 or a 4, and this is a 3, there's only one digit we haven't used, and that is the 2. So we know the 2 is going to have to go right into that one. Now, that being said, do we know what this one is? Since we've already got it here, we have to subtract to a 1. So that could either be 2 minus 1 is 1, but it also could be 3 minus 2, which equals 1 as well. So this really could be a 1 or a 3. We're not sure. Okay, so that could be a 1 or a 3. Well, let's go down here and figure this out. This is dividing by 2. That means when you divide two numbers, they have to equal 2. Well, with these combinations, I have 2 ways of dividing and getting 2 as my answer. 4 divided by 2 is 2. But I also have 2 divided by 1. Remember, any number divided by 1 is itself. So 2 divided by 1 is also 2. Well, if I used a 4 and 2, I wouldn't be able to do that because of this big 4 right here. So that means I'm going to have to use the 2 and the 1 in this column. Now, if I use a 2 and a 1, which I'm not sure whether the 1 goes on top or the 1 goes on bottom. So remember, if you want to put those little numbers, you can put those little numbers in there. So if this has to be a 1, that means that this can't be a 1. So we're going to go ahead and erase that, because now we know that that has to be the 3. All right, we still don't know which order these go in, so let's kind of move over. Let's look at this 5 plus. All right, so if we're looking at which of these combinations add together to get us 5, well, we know that the 2 plus 3 is 5, and we also know that the 1 plus 4 is 5. Well, if we look at our 2 plus 3 being 5, notice that there's already a 3 in the top row and in the second row. So we can't put a 3 in either one of these, or it would have a matching one right here. So we can't use the 2 plus 3. That means we have to use the 1 plus 4. So do we put the 1 on top or the 4 on top? Well, let's look at this 4 right here in this first row. It's already on top. We can't put another 4 here. We have to put the 1, which means the 4 goes down here. All right, so now look at this. Up on top, we have 3 out of the 4 squares. So we have a 1, a 3, and a 4. We're only missing one of these digits. Which one is that? You betcha, the 2. So we're going to go ahead and put a 2 there. We also have 3 out of the 4 in the second row. So it's a 3, a 2, and a 4. Only one missing, and that would be the 1. So we're going to go ahead and put a 1 there. So now let's go ahead and look at this 6 times. That means these 3 numbers, when multiplied together, would give you 6. 2 times 1 is 2. So what number then out of these, when I multiply it, would give me 6? Well, 2 times 3 is 6. So that means that this is going to have to be a 3. Now, once again, look at this column. We have 3 out of the 4. So we know that this bottom one is going to have to be a 4. Oh, look at this over here. Now we know. Can this bottom one be a 4? Absolutely not. So we can go ahead and erase this, because we know that the bottom one then has to be the 1 and the top has to be the 4. Now I know you're getting excited because over here you have a 1 and a 2. And if the 1's already down here, you bet that can't be a 1. So we'll go ahead and erase those little numbers, and we'll put in the 2 down on the bottom and the 1 on top. Oh, we're almost there. 1, a 4, and a 3. That means that we have only one number left, and that's a 2. We have a 1, a 2, and a 4. One number left, and that's a 3. Now I just like to check just to make sure I've got it. So if I look at each column, I notice that I only have a 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Look at each row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I like to just check my math just in case too. So this has to add up to 9. So 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 plus 4 is 9. So that one works. 3 times 1 is 3, times 2 is 6. 4 plus 1 is 5. 3 plus 4 is 7. 3 minus 2 is 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. And 2 divided by 1 is 2. Excellent. We have just solved our second KenKen. Now, like I said, you can always go and rewind this video if you need a little extra help. I've also included the written instructions just to help you out as well. And I've also included, you bet, a practice page for you to work at. I have on that sheet some 3x3s to get you started. And then I've also included some 4x4s if you want just a little bit more of a challenge. All right.